It looks alive. So welcome to the late night Monday night Gun Channel's live stream called Lock and Load. And Shana Tova, Happy New Year for all the Jewish people out there, or lunar calendar people who follow that. Got my Manischewitz and cheers. Or l'chaim. But anyway, what were you going to say?
I said Happy Shana Tova.
Yeah, Rosh Hashanah, Jewish New Year. So President Trump met with Netanyahu today. I guess he's going to go to the United Nations tomorrow, see how that goes. He should just walk in there and say, the bombers are on the way to bomb North Korea, and then just leave after he says that. Shortest speech in the history of the United Nations.
There you go.
And it would be the most effective speech, too. Oh, great. Something wants to update on my computer. But anyway, what else has been going on? There was something about the silver bugs out there that Mexico may have a silver sovereign and peg their currency to it. I mean, so basically there would be a silver Libertad without a denomination on it, like however many pesos. So that way it wouldn't be melted down if the silver value of silver changed for the silver content. The value of the currency would be directly tied to the value of silver, the Libertad coin. So we'll see if that happens. In case anybody hasn't been following the whole Bitcoin thing, with Jamie Dimon and the China closing all the Bitcoin exchanges in China, because they don't want people exporting their wealth out of the country with Bitcoin. So they're closing. China's closing all the exchanges, and Jamie Dimon had gone on the air. Jamie Dimon is the CEO of J.P. Morgan. And he went on the air and said that Bitcoin was a scam, and the price of Bitcoin fell from $5,000 a coin to $3,000 a coin. And then JP Morgan, a week after he said it was a scam and that he would fire anybody who worked for JP Morgan who bought Bitcoin, a week later, JP Morgan started buying Bitcoin.
Of course.
After he drove the price down to $3,000, guess who started buying Bitcoin? Jamie Dimon. And
I believe
he was caught by, he was outed by somebody whose Twitter handle is I Am Nomad, who's a reference to a Star Trek episode with a computer that was reprogrammed and rebuilt with immensely more power and went to sterilize anything that wasn't perfect. But let me see if I can screen share this Steemit page with Jamie Dimon. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's interesting post. I have it on I re-steamed it on my Steemit page. Jamie Dimon has created a dramatic plunge in the price of Bitcoin just so he could take advantage of the sell-off and buy it up. Last week, CEO JP Morgan Chase Bank decried Bitcoin as a fraud. It threatened to fire any employees that bought or owned Bitcoin with immediate termination. He stated this at 2 different meetings that he was a keynote speaker at. So then what does he do? He purchases what appears to be a huge amount of Bitcoin on a German exchange, likely to hide the purchase from the American market. And the thing is, you can't really hide that on the blockchain because everything is searchable. And
yeah.
So I Am Nomad, they found it, and this purchase by JP Morgan of like 9,000 Bitcoins. And anyway, it was a pretty interesting little turn of events. I mean, and the whole thing with Equifax, when 143 million Americans got all their information, social security number, birth dates, all that hacked because Equifax didn't update their software. They didn't apply a software patch, and apparently they found this out in March, and they didn't tell anybody until about last week. And meanwhile, they sold off all their stock options, and I think they shorted their own company. And when the word came out, obviously the stock price of the stock plummeted for Equifax, and so they're now being investigated by the entire alphabet soup of the government. Whether or not that counts as an actual crime depends on what state they were in when they did all that. But I guess we'll see if they're set to testify, and I don't think they're going to. They all stepped down, but they were set to testify in front of Congress on October 3rd. But I don't think they're going to say anything more than I take the Fifth Amendment, because at this point they've got the whole alphabet soup after them. But the 143 million Americans who got their information thrown up on the dark web, which is basically half of America, I hope you're all on have LifeLock or something, because your credit is at risk for sure. Anyway, we've got another hurricane coming in to Puerto Rico. It looks like a Category 4 last time I checked, and it's a Category 5, Hurricane Maria. The hits seem to keep on coming. I don't know how much prepping you can do if you keep getting plastered with Category 4 and 5 hurricanes.
Well, I mean, in that case, it would make something like that, when you get something that big, and especially when you're on a little island or you're on a coastal region, I would just be getting the heck out of Dodge myself. But I would just be bugging out.
Yeah, if you can.
Well, if you can put as much money back as you can when you see it coming.
If you can get an airplane ticket out of there.
Yeah, well, that's why you prep ahead of time.
Yeah, well, I bugged out to some place that North Korea might not want to nuke. I mean, I don't know, or because there's nothing on this particular island, but I don't know. It just seems like there's so many bad black swan style events just sitting out there on the horizon. It's hard to know what to prepare for, and there's some things there's just no way to prepare for them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's things that just suddenly arise too, and earthquakes can cause a tsunami. About the only thing you can do there is sign up for a tsunami warning so that you have some time to at least get to high ground. And there's all kinds of stuff. But
did they close the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center? It's the thing about the whole nuclear weapon is if they can build a big enough one, all they have to do is drop it in the Pacific Ocean anywhere, and if there's a big enough bubble, then it'll create a tsunami, which could take out all the cities along the coast in the Pacific Ocean.
Where did you hear that?
It's out there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, tell me what's wrong about that theory.
You remember the hydrogen bomb tests they did in the Pacific?
Those were on the ground.
No.
No, they did
underneath a floating ship.
Well, yes. How big was the weapon? How many megatons, or was it?
I realize that modern ones are bigger, but
much bigger.
Much bigger, but not that much bigger. Not that much bigger. No, you're not going to get a tsunami from a nuke.
Well, let's hope not, because I live near the ocean. So.
Well, this goes right back into my whole just get the hell off that island kind of thing, but you don't want to leave.
Well, if I'm up on I want to get my prepper shelter on the volcano built, so it'll be high enough off the coast that I don't have to worry about meteors dropping into the Pacific Ocean and 500-foot tidal waves.
Then you just have to worry about.
Okay,
a
this also goes back to the whole movie thing. You watch too many movies, man.
No, you don't watch enough. I mean,
What about the lava tube, though?
I have. Well, it's still for sale. That place in the lava tube is still for sale. Anybody want to go in on it? Send me some Bitcoin.
All right,
Well,
I'm
it's kinda
calling
like this, no matter
in
how fancy-
reinforcements. I'm gonna get Dusty in here.
No matter how fast,
Find
or
him
no
in his
matter
pig
how
fort.
well, Hawaii, no matter how well you dress a pig, it's still a pig. I would not live where there's lava tubes. I wouldn't want to end up in a.
No matter how many thousands of years old the tube is and has been there for, you think it's going to melt into lava suddenly?
It's definitely possible.
Well.
People think I'm crazy for living in Oklahoma because of tornadoes, but at least I can get underground.
Well, you said you were going to call in reinforcements, Squid, but now I see two of you, and I haven't been drinking that much Manischewitz yet, so.
There was 2 of them in my chat as well.
I'm making a point.
Which is?
I have no point.
I got, my dad had sent me a copy of Birth of a Nation, and I was very interested, speaking of movies. I know you said you liked Apocalypse Now, right?
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Right. Well, do you remember the scene with the air cav and they play the Wagner?
Ride of the Valkyrie or something, yeah.
You know what? They got that. Francis Ford Coppola stole that directly from Birth of a Nation. And at the end of the movie, The Birth of a Nation, basically what happens is the Ku Klux Klan cavalry with white sheets and everything comes riding in to the right of the Valkyries by Wagner. He stole it right from there. It's in Birth of a Nation. It's in the Birth of a Nation. It's an upside down film. The black people are the bad guys, and the Ku Klux Klan are the good guys. So at the end of the movie, the cavalry literally rides into the ride of the Valkyries, and that's where Francis Ford Coppola stole that idea for Apocalypse Now. I saw the movie. It's a 3-hour movie, so that little scene is until the end. But if you're from the South, you might like it. If you're black, you'll hate it. But it was a historical movie. It's the reason I watched it. And I also watched Patton last night. I have a DVD for that. I like the audio essays by the historians. They had one for Patton. And it was pretty interesting. I think his first action was under General Pershing when I think Pancho Villa raided New Mexico, a town in New Mexico, and then so they had a retaliatory raid into Mexico, and Patton was on that, and he killed 3 of Pancho Villa's men, and he brought them back as trophies, and he hung them upside down in front of Pershing's office, and he knocked on his door for him to come out and see them. So, he was
kind of like when a cat brings you back a mouse.
Something like that.
Or my pit bull dog brings us moles and rats all the time.
Well, I think he was thinking more like a hunter brings back a trophy bucks or something. So that might have been in Patton's mind at the time. But he was in the paper as a hero for about a week when he was just a second lieutenant. And it's of course, very interesting movie. He's the only general that's actually buried overseas. He's not buried in America. He's buried with his men of I think the Third Army in Germany. But I don't know if they make generals like Patton anymore. Okay, I was going to read this ILA gun channels for gun channels. The California court blocks enforcement of magazine ban. Let's see.
Hey, while you read that, I'll clean a bunch of magazines, okay?
Okay, yeah, they had a magazine ban in California that said that if you had, it was a confiscatory ban, which means if you have a magazine that holds over 10 rounds and you don't turn it into police, then you're a criminal, even if you bought it legally like 20 or 40 years ago. So Benitez held that standard capacity magazines like those affected by the ban are arms within the meaning of the Second Amendment. He further ruled that the law burdens the core Second Amendment right of possessing an arm commonly held by law-abiding citizens for defense at home, self, and the state. The burden, he wrote, was more than slight, and the ban was neither presumptively legal nor of longstanding pedigree. And even if the ban were subject to the more forgiving standard of intermediate scrutiny under which many gun control laws have been upheld, he found that it would not be a reasonable fit with the state's asserted purpose of promoting public safety because it is aimed at law-abiding persons. Benitez had some unusually sharp characterizations of California gun control laws. The language, quote, the language used, the internally referenced provisions, the interplay among them, and the plethora of other gun regulations have made the state's magazine laws difficult to understand for all but the most learned experts. Too much complexity fails to give fair notice and violates due process, he said.
Sounds like our tax code.
Well,
Too complex for people to
yeah,
understand.
if you have money, then you're a felon, right? Is that it? The judge noted that even the attorney for the state of California could not describe all the ban's intricacies during the hearing. Quote, who could blame her? He asked rhetorically. The California matrix of gun control laws is among the harshest in the nation and is filled with criminal law traps for those people of common intelligence who desire to obey the law. Criminal law traps. Yep. Benitez also assailed the creeping incrementalism that retroactively seeks to punish facially harmless behavior by upstanding people who are acting in good faith. Constitutional rights would become meaningless if states could obliterate them by enacting incrementally more burdensome restrictions while arguing that a reviewing court must evaluate each restriction by itself when determining constitutionality. So this was the Duncan case. Benitez framed the questions in the Duncan case as whether a law-abiding, responsible citizen has the right to defend his home from criminals using whatever common magazine size he or she judges to best suit the situation, and keep and bear a common magazine useful for service in the militia. He opined that I'm going to read this stuff. That's a final decision on the merits is likely to answer both questions yes. Okay. Well, so California is still screwed, I guess, but just a little less so today. They won't haul you off to jail if you have some 30-round magazine laying in one of your drawers somewhere that you haven't looked at. like if you bought it 20 years ago or something. So yeah, I've been trying to talk my dad to move out of California, but my mother won't let him, so can't get in between that.
Yeah, they're adults. They have to make their own decision.
Yeah, they've been married for forever, so at least longer than, what is it, 60 years or something like that, which is amazing in today's world. So anything been happening on gun channels at all? I haven't been online very much lately.
By the way, I have to have the gun channels page closed because my internet's so slow. So if anybody's over there, hey guys, sorry, I can't see any comments over there.
I'll have a look. It seemed to be minding its manners over there. DTP Pfeiffer and Clayton and Squib. I don't see Dusty out there, but oh well.
He sent me a text. He said he was on his way.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right.
It's a big farm to walk across.
Yeah. Is he done with his plantings?
He's been loading 2 big truckloads a day of, I guess, soybeans or something.
Harvesting the soybeans?
Yes. Having trucks show up early in the morning and taking all day to load them.
Ugh.
He's just been really busy.
Farming's tough work.
Yes, it is.
So you got some rain over in Oklahoma, you were saying?
Yeah, thankfully. Oh, we needed it so bad. We got pretty heavy rain last night, and we got some drizzles today. So it was nice to get the rain, and it cooled the weather down some, which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot around here lately.
Kind of got me in the fall mood yesterday, which is my favorite time of year. So I had a candle going. I always love a candle going with the windows open, nice and cool air coming in. Thinking about all the things that I want to cook for fall and winter, like stews and chicken and dumplings and things like that.
Oh, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just picked up some poke, some seafood salad, and a steak to barbecue tomorrow.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And other than that, not too much happening. I saw there was some solar flare activity the last couple days of high magnitude, but
yeah, last week there was something pretty significant too. I guess I don't know what level it was at, but
yeah, I think we were just missed by another gigantic solar flare.
and they really only have about 20 minutes lead time to alert you. You know, they alert you, and then you have about 20 minutes to prepare if you're gonna put anything in a not that you can prepare too much, but you know.
I know, it's like I don't keep the solar. I have it bookmarked, but I don't like keep a close eye on the solar. That's website that has the solar information and the updated pictures of the photography of the sun, and I tend to watch the price of Bitcoin more than I do the solar.
Bitcoin won't mean much if there is a solar flare. Just got to tell you.
Well, it may or may not mean anything. So, but we'll see. I just got a small cloud mining contract, and we'll see what happens over time with that. I got a nice stash of ammo and silver and gold, and we'll see if that goes anywhere. It's a heavily manipulated market, but it seems like the Hearing Protection Act, it seems like in general, the Republicans need to do something, and they might pass some gun legislation just because it's low-hanging fruit to throw some red meat to their base, since they can't get anything else done, apparently, like tax cuts or health care or anything like that. It's like some gun legislation might be easy, low-hanging fruit. So I don't know. We'll see. And the NFL, apparently, that they aren't showing when they have the national anthem, and the cameras won't show who's not standing or something. But I gotta, to paraphrase John Madden, if they're going to keep just disrespecting the American flag and their audience and by not standing or not telling their players to stand for the national anthem, then what the NFL is going to stand for is not for long, because their ratings are going to go down so fast.
I hope so, but you know, there's some football addicts out there, and it doesn't matter if they have to sell their soul to the devil, they're going to freaking watch it.
Oh, I know. I used to be one.
Sad, you know.
I used to be one. I'm not necessarily opposed to the NFL, but I could find something else to do if they're going to just not stand for the national anthem at the beginning of every game and not and they're going to have the cameras just point at something else, like we don't know what's happening at the stadium.
Yep. Doesn't mean the fans don't see and won't say something about it or take pictures, you know, and or whatever. So maybe there'll be some people that still post stuff out there, but they're still at the game, so they're still supporting them. They pay those guys that won't stand salary every time they go to the game, or you know, whatever. So, or watch them on TV through ads. So, I don't know. I just think it's very disrespectful to everyone who served this country, everyone who's died, their families that have sacrificed their loved ones' time away from them. And
that's Squib cleaning his magazines.
Yeah, pardon my noise. It's the sound of freedom.
Okay, but
doesn't hurt my feelings.
Look, I look at it like this. They have the right to not stand up.
Yeah.
The fact that the media is making a big deal out of it and things like that.
We have the right to not
plays
watch.
right into their game.
We have the right to not watch.
Hold up. Well, we have the right to not watch. The thing is, even though it is disrespectful not to stand up. I wonder if their parents raised them right. As a parent myself, I wonder if their parents raised them right. And as somebody who has fought for this country, I don't really like it. However, that's one of the rights that I fought for. Is if they choose not to stand up, they choose not to stand up.
Exactly.
How this follows them in their career, even after the NFL, I think it could affect them, and they're not thinking about that. They're trying to make a statement. I'm not paying to hear about your political opinion. I'm paying to watch you play football. Go out there and play football and shut up. The same thing I feel about when you go to a concert and they want to talk politics or something like that. I'm not paying for your political. If you want to do that, join a political organization and then go to a rally or a dinner or have some sort of speech there, not at the concert, not at the football game, not at the Oscars. Do it somewhere else as a part of an organization.
The real reason that Colin and Kaepernick can't get a job in the NFL is because he can't complete a forward pass.
Well, they have the right. They have the right to do that, and if the media had any integrity, they wouldn't show camera angles of it, not because they don't want to get people upset or not because the NFL told them not to, but because they're going to say, fine, you want to disrespect America? We're not going to show you on TV. How's that? You're not going to get your message out there.
Well, either that or it's just that way they're not putting the guys out there.
And I also look at it like this. These guys are overpaid. They're overpaid cowards, okay? They didn't serve a minute of their life in the military. How many of them, well, I suppose some of them could go on to a political career and actually do something useful. But when people say you're disrespecting all the people that have served and stuff like that, you are. But they'll never measure up to me or Jared or anybody else, because they want to sit there and have their big fat paycheck and have all their fame and fortune, and then they want to go and make a political statement like that, which is BS.
Well, and a lot
And
do it.
all we did was graduate high school and go off and serve our country. So, I don't want any sort of pat on the back for that. I don't need any of that. But these guys need the attention of the camera. I don't. So there's a big difference between them and veterans.
But also, how many of them are doing it because it's the thing to do now, the popularity? You know what I mean? For attention.
How about if people thought they were popular because they could actually play a football game?
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
How about if people thought they were popular because they did something positive? They donated some of their time and money to a decent charitable organization, or started one of their own, and it wasn't just a way for them to have a tax shelter for their own personal money either. I'm talking about something sincere.
All they're doing is contributing to the divisiveness instead of trying to heal. They're contributing to the divisiveness in the country. So
they might say, I never joined this to be a role model. Okay, I understand that, and it's probably not even in your contract. But dude, guess what? You're a role model. Deal with it.
Yep.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, think about it. How many times when you were in uniform did you have to say sir or ma'am to the rudest civilians out there? But you were in uniform, you were representing. So you were locked and cocked, and it was yes, sir, and no, ma'am. And no matter how rude they were or how ignorant they were or whatever it was that they said that just you didn't really have the patience to deal with, or you just didn't want to deal with the attitude problem, you did. You took it and you dealt with it because they're paying your paycheck with taxes, and that's what you were told to do. You're in this uniform. You're not wearing jeans and a T-shirt. They know you're a soldier or Marine or sailor or airman. They know you better show some respect. And these guys are putting on a football uniform, and they can't even do that.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Now I'm ranting.
Well, I could interrupt you if you want, but you were doing such a good job. I feel I could let you just go on.
It must be the gun oil. I don't know. Usually it's Pringles that set me off.
Hoppies? Is it Hoppies or something else?
Oh.
I didn't think I was going to be able to do this tonight, but I used some essential oils for my arthritis, and it seems to be working.
Awesome.
What did you use for your arthritis? I didn't know you had. Are you too young to have arthritis?
Oh, you got to be kidding me. I've had arthritis since I was a little kid.
Okay.
Let's see. What's this stuff called? So the receptionist at work is into this essential oils stuff, and I didn't even know about it, Oily, until until I met you, and then so
Right.
she had mentioned it, and I go, oh, I know what those are. I talked to somebody in Oklahoma who's into that. This stuff is called. It's
Called what?
Deep Blue Rub. It's made by doTERRA.
doTERRA?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's just Blue Emu oil.
Well, there's Idaho balsam fir and all kinds of stuff in there. Wintergreen is probably in there as well, and that helps with inflammation and pain. It has salicylic acid in it, just like aspirin. So actually, like if you take wintergreen by itself, you can take it under the tongue if it's a food grade oil.
There's a lot of those rubs that have salicylic acid in them. That's basically just aspirin. That's you use it. So that's in
What aspirin?
through your skin. It's absorbed through your skin instead of popping an aspirin.
Mm-hmm. Or you can take it under the tongue. If it's food grade wintergreen oil, you can take it under the tongue. I do both. I rub it topically and I drop it under my tongue. It's a little hot, but I tell you what, it doesn't last long. The heat doesn't under your tongue, and it's well worth it. Or you can take it in a capsule, 2-3 drops with some peppermint oil, which makes it more effective.
I've used it on arthritis in my legs before, and it seems to work. I tried it in my hand, and it didn't take very long before it kicked in, and I'm able to move my hand enough that I can take apart magazines and clean them. But I do smell like a tin of dip.
Oh, yeah, probably. But you can rub that on your feet, too. You can rub it over the area close to you. You can rub it on your feet as well. And it will go to different parts of your body that have an inflammation in them, even the parts that you don't feel. So, yeah,
Look,
pretty awesome stuff.
seems to be working on arthritis. Okay.
Yeah, they based it off of Young Living's blend called Deep Relief. It's a lot the same thing, just maybe in a little bit different ratios, you know, but it's probably pretty close to the same thing. So, yeah, it's good stuff. I use it all the time.
Well, that's a good gun tip for old guys who need to clean magazines and gun parts and have arthritis, which is probably a lot of old gun guys.
I'm thinking my arthritis is flaring up because I spent most of Sunday at the range. So.
Oh, yeah, that kind of jars it, and depends what kind of arthritis you have. If it's osteo or
Old
rheumatoid.
hillbilly arthritis? I don't know.
Hillbilly?
Osteoarthritis, then.
I don't know. I ain't going to no doctor about it. That's why it's hillbilly arthritis. I don't go to no damn doctor.
Well,
Hey, speaking of ailments, hey, Jared, how's your eye?
Yeah, how is your eye?
I didn't know he had a problem with his eye.
Oh yeah, I got.
He had to shoot left-handed in his video.
Oh no, I've had that problem for a while now. I got an astigmatism in my right eye.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have astigmatism as well. It throws off your and everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I watched your video and you explained why you were shooting left-handed.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if that was just, it was bothering you all the time or just.
Yeah. I don't know. It was pretty late when I did that video. I'm not exactly sure why I added that in there.
Yeah, I had, before I moved to Hawaii, I had LASIK eye correction, vision correction. And so I have perfect vision pretty much.
I'd love to be able to get that done.
It's not that expensive. I mean,
Yeah. I gotta get the herpes neck fixed before I worry about my vision.
Oh, you know what it was, Squib? There used to be an extra video that I took out, and it was me shooting the gun right-handed. So I didn't want to confuse people like swabbing.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to get a shot of the ejection pattern. That's what I was doing. You know, because if you're shooting at lefty and there's no brass deflector, you could potentially get some brass in the face.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I didn't think of it like that.
But I didn't have that problem at all.
yeah, I got the Tavor has a deflector, and I got a slightly larger than normal one, so it'll always at least hit the deflector and not go right into your face, no matter what you use. It's like, which it can happen with the standard one that came with it. So, but there's an aftermarket part for it.
Oh, yeah.
And but I was thinking that one topic I was thinking about for the chat is that like the Tavor is the only rifle that I really absolutely need to if the shit hits the fan. And some people like, I could go with the AK, or it's nice to have choices. But Tavor does everything I really need, and as long as you keep it clean and lubricated, it doesn't jam. So, and it hits what I need.
Hey, does that use Stanig mags?
I only I've never used those mags with it.
Jesse James said out in the external, it would be nice if the SHARE Act passes as it has the HPA in it. I have no idea what all of that is. Tell me.
I got something from the Gun Owners of America on that. including they sent me some cards to mail to President Trump, telling him to repeal all of Obama's executive orders about firearms. I haven't had a chance to do anything with it yet. It's sitting on my desk.
So the Hearing Protection Act turns the suppressor into an accessory. It's no longer an NFA item where you have to fill out paperwork and wait 9 months or more and pay a $200 tax stamp, and it's illegal to transfer and illegal to take out of state and blah, 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 blah. The SHARE Act is putting that into some sort of laws about hunting. I mean, that's the basic. I mean, there's a lot more to it than that, but.
All I know is it's still illegal to have a suppressor in Hawaii, so you can't win sometimes. They fix the federal law and the state law is still screwed up.
I think most people want a suppressor for the cool factor. I don't really think they want it for any. I'm not saying there isn't some good reasons. I mean, obviously at the range, you're not as loud. It's not as annoying, that sort of thing. Hunting, you could get a follow-up shot if it's quiet enough, which might be the difference between bringing home some meat or not. I think there's some practical things for it as far as training and whatnot. It's not an assassin's tool. It's not what the gangbangers are using. But a lot of it really has to do with, in my opinion, people just want it because it's been banned. If they never banned it, they wouldn't be as, air quotes, cool. It's just like people wanting full autos. Full autos are fun. They are fun. But once you pay the ammo bill for one of those things, you'll be rethinking it. It'll either sit in the safe or eventually you'll put it up for sale because you'll need some money. There's nothing wrong with owning a full auto. You want to have a full auto, go ahead and get a full auto. But I think you're just better off renting one. That way somebody else has to clean it and be responsible for it. And you just pay the ammo bill whenever you want to shoot it. You don't have to worry about. I don't know. I think a lot of people who want it have never used it.
Minigun.
Well, the thing is,
from a prepping point of view, I see not giving away your location if somebody comes upon you and it doesn't give off your location, and if somebody is coming on your property or something, and it's a SHTF situation.
It's not perfectly silent like in the movies. It doesn't sound like in the movies at all.
Right, but it still would lower that,
It's more about not annoying your neighbors. If you're shooting on your property and they can hear you shooting all day, if you had a suppressor, they're not going to if they're 10 or 20 acres over, they're not going to hear you, that sort of thing. Or like where I shoot.
That is a problem. Especially
all the rich people on the lake don't like us out there shooting because they paid millions of dollars for their houses and they don't like to hear crack, 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 crack in the background. Suppressors would work out pretty good there. But I'm not saying I don't think anybody should have them. I'm not saying I don't think anybody should have any NFA item. I just think people want NFA items for less than practical reasons. They just want them for the cool factor, which that's the American way. There's nothing wrong with that. But, that aside, whatever.
I want a minigun.
I hope they pass laws, but they probably won't.
Well, whatever reason you want any firearm-related item, it's okay with me. I don't probably pass judgment.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying you have to have a reason. You have to have a legitimate reason. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I'm just saying I just think that a lot of people are just in it for the cool factor, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's all it really is. I've bought a couple guns for the cool factor. I've been disappointed, So
what guns did you buy for the cool factor?
I bought my 22 caliber STG 44 clone. Let's see, what else have I bought for the cool factor? The SKS.
Those things are old things.
I guess I kind of got the AK because I thought they would be banned, and I really don't like doing that. I'm not saying I don't like the AK. Yeah, it's better than what I thought, but still, I only got it because I thought they were going to be banned. Otherwise, I would have probably invested in something else.
Yeah, well, yeah, you could buy one if you think it's your last chance to ever own one.
Yeah, and I really think that's a crappy reason to do it. I'd rather do it for a little bit more practical reason or
It's a
more
kind
fun
of a
reason.
Panicky. It's kind of a panic buy. Yeah, I understand.
Oh, it was. It absolutely was. I'm not gonna lie. It was.
I mean, it's like if
I'm
you
not,
listen
I'm
to
not
a lot of
disappointed.
Matt's chats in a row, I was always, every time I listened to Matt's chat, I wanted to go out and panic buy something. You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He kind of has that effect, doesn't he?
Well, Matt would be the first person to tell you I paid way too much for my AK. It's a lot better. I had shot 2 AKs prior to that, and it's a lot better. All 3 of them really were better than I thought they would be. So the one I have, I'm not getting rid of, even though now there's no panic on them.
Well, look at it this way: what you overpaid in for the gun, you'll save back on ammo.
Only because I reload.
Well, you reload 7.62 by 39. It's so damn cheap. No.
I don't buy that crappy steel case stuff. I'm a snob, man.
I buy the scrappy steel case Tula all the way, man. I've never had a failure ever with Tula.
Patui. It doesn't matter to me if somebody wants to get it just for the cool factor. It doesn't matter to me if somebody wants to get it because of a panic buy. You don't need a reason to convince me to why you bought a gun. It's your money. Do whatever the heck you want. I just think that if these things had never been banned, I don't think they would be as much in demand. That's all. If they had never been banned in 1934 and we could go down to the store and get a suppressor as easy as we could get a spare magazine, there would be plenty of people with suppressors, but there wouldn't be this uproar and this great demand for them. They wouldn't be charging $800 for one, really. No, stuff like that.
Yeah, and the people who want to ban them are there's articles in the paper, especially my local paper, but all the time about how the crazy firearm people want everybody to have a silencer. It's just like, you want everybody to be deaf, and you want everybody that lives near somebody with who's trying to get rid of the pigs eating their crops to be annoyed because they have to shoot them with a rifle. It's like,
and that's just it. They'll let you hunt pigs at night. You can't. You don't normally hunt at night
in Hawaii.
So now you're hunting at night and you're making all this noise. So not only is your first shot scaring away the other pigs, you're also annoying the people down the road. Yes.
At night, if you hunt in Hawaii at night, they'll take away your gun, your car, your dogs. They will euthanize your dogs. They'll take away everything, and they'll throw you in jail to boot.
Speaking of dogs, I had something interesting happen at the range yesterday. So
hopefully nobody shot a dog.
At the end of the day, when they called ceasefire, that's it. We're all done for the day. This guy didn't want to stop shooting, and then they busted him for having too many rounds in his magazine. They explained to him why they don't. Well, no, you can use a 30-round mag. You just can't load more than 6 in there. And the reason is when they call ceasefire to change targets, they say fire off what you have loaded. That means if you've got 6 rounds or less, you're going to fire it off in just a matter of 15 seconds or so, because it's slow fire. If you got a 30-round mag and you just pulled the trigger when they say fire off what you have loaded, you have 30 more and you're trying to take aim shots, we're waiting a minute and a half, 2 minutes for you to finish. And that's holding everybody up. The next thing is they won't let anybody go out to take off the targets until everybody walks across the yellow line. Once you walk across that yellow line, you do not go back over to your station to grab a stapler, to grab targets, to check your gun, to do anything. That means nobody's touching these firearms. Right. They will come by and make sure they're all empty, blah, blah. And these are normal safety things, right? This guy, he didn't want to step behind the yellow line. Then they said, well, you need to case up your firearm. And he decided he was going to step back over the yellow line with the firearm, lay it on the ground, case it up. He goes, whoa, dude, you can't do that. You're supposed to case it up over here with the muzzle pointing down range. And you're breaking this rule, you're breaking that rule. And the guy got into it with the range master. We actually stuck around because we weren't sure. He got into it with the range master 3 times. And we weren't sure if he was going to go after the range master. Our range masters are unarmed. The state will not let them carry a sidearm on the range unless they wear body armor. And they're not wearing body armor in the heat and humidity all day. So we stuck around because we weren't going to let this guy get shot. This guy he was arguing safety rules. He was saying it's okay to go down range and change a target while people are still shooting. I instantly thought of your incident there, Hawaii, where the guy was shooting while you were down range.
Yeah. Bullets ricocheting
well, this
right by
idiot
me.
thought,
After I called
right,
the
and
range
this idiot was arguing with the range master. A situation like that is perfectly acceptable. And then he was arguing about having to pay $4 to shoot all day, and he was just every little thing. Well, we're waiting and we're waiting and waiting, and somebody says, "Hey, whose truck is that over there with the dog laying on the floor?" The guy had been there all day with his dog sitting inside the cab of his pickup truck. It was 83 degrees out with humidity. Yeah, so while this D-bag was out there banging away and breaking all the rules and making all of us
He was
wait.
killing his own dog.
He was killing his dog, yeah. But like I said, we stuck around. The guy eventually left, but yeah, that was just too many wrongs in one day. And, every now and then you'll go to the range and there'll be that guy. There'll be that guy that ruins it for everybody. I bring my family to this range. There's a lot of first-time shooters that come to this range. Don't be that guy that's unsafe and goes, well, at the range I go to, we shoot and go down range and change targets while other people are still shooting at us, and we've never had anybody get hurt. It's like, okay, you're the first guy that's going to get everybody killed with that attitude. Yeah.
There's a line, where somebody can just be a range Nazi and go over the line. But if you aren't going to follow safety procedures at all, then you don't deserve to be allowed on the range ever again.
Yep.
Well, my thing is, because there are people that live nearby that complain about the noise, and they have money to donate to the local politicians' campaign funds that I don't have. And because there are first-time shooters there that are nervous, they're scared of guns, they're trying to get into guns. Every week we see somebody new. It's great. Because there are families that go there, because there are companies that bring their employees there sometimes for little get-togethers and things like that. You want this place to be safe. You want it to be comfortable. You want it to be inviting. People socialize at my gun range. I mean, people get along, and it works out real well. And then every now and then you'll have a guy like this guy come in there, and he comes from a range where they got no rules.
This all happened, though, because some idiot passed a law that says your range officers can't be armed unless they're wearing body armor?
State of Michigan, yep. Because it's a state range. It's not a private range, and that's just it. If you want to load 30 rounds in your mag and blast away at a high rate of speed and a bunch of other things that they don't allow there, you can go places around here to do that. You just may have to drive a little further or pay more money. Well, he didn't want to do either. Well, dude, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like I said, it's a kind of place where you can take your kids. It's a kind of place where you can take a first-time shooter. It's a kind of place where you can sight in your hunting rifle, or you can test your reloads, or you can test your gun after you fix it and stuff, and not have to worry about it being just. I'm not saying that a mag dump is a bad thing. It's fun to do, but I mean, for me, okay, I've done it. I'm over it. That sort of thing. You got the guys that can't hit the broadside of the barn, but they'll do a mag dump over and over and over again and go, look how cool I am. Yeah, look how cool you are. How about if you hit the target, dude? So I don't know. The kind of range I go to is just, it's not meant for that, and I just don't like somebody going there and spoiling it for everybody else.
Yeah.
But it happens, and the guy had to leave his dog in the truck all day, which was bad.
They charged $4. Is that what you said? $4 for shooting the entire day.
$4 all day. You can leave and come back and not have to pay admission again. $4 all day.
Oh, wow.
Kids under the age of 16 shoot for free.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that's hard to pay for a range officer with that low of a fee.
Oh no, they get paid out of our tax money. I mean, they make plenty of money. The place is always packed, and they also use it. They also use it for local Leo, and they even had the bomb squad go out there and detonate things from time to time. But yeah, they would get paid either way, whether somebody showed up or nobody showed up. They get paid out of our tax dollars. So. But yeah, there's, I mean, I'm sure that you guys have been to the range and seen that guy that, like I said, he's breaking the rules, he's being a jerk, and then he leaves his dog in a hot truck all day too, on top of everything else.
Well, thankfully, I don't have to go to a range because we live on 180 acres. So.
That's big enough to get some shooting done.
Oh yeah. We just have to be limited on our shooting, like in certain directions, because we have cattle all around here. But other than that, we're good.
Well, my wife does want me to buy some land now so she can have her own private personal shooting range. So I don't know where I'm going to come up with that. Land's expensive in Michigan.
Well, move somewhere else. We're cheaper.
Rent a cabin on Dusty's farm. He'll let you go shooting.
Yeah, that's true. You know, he texted me and said he was going to come on. He must have, I don't know, fallen asleep on the way.
It's okay. It's okay. I need to buy him a pitchfork if I ever see him.
I mean, yes, you need to buy him a pitchfork. I'm not saying your show puts anybody to sleep, why? I'm not saying that at all. But
that's okay. If you're having problems falling asleep, then just drink more alcohol. Let's see. So I'm down. I polished off a third of this Manischewitz bottle. So I did enough Rosh Hashanah celebrating.
it's for religious purposes.
Absolutely. Sanctifying and repenting for everything that I screwed up last year. That's what Rosh Hashanah is about. I got 10 days to repent and then start all over screwing everything up again on Yom Kippur. So. Anyway, so I was thinking the only reason I'd really want to get like something like an AR or another rifle would be if I was to grab get into night vision optics or something like that.
Can you legally build an AR-15 in your, and 80% lower in your state?
You can build one, but you'd have to register the lower. Well, at least I don't know if it's 80%. It has to be registered. I know if you have just a receiver, you have to register that. If you build one, you'll have to register that. So, but I'm not an expert on these crappy laws. I've just basically until they repeal that wrap back list, I'm not planning on buying any more guns in the state. I'll make do with what I got, which is a lot. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 long guns and a dozen pistols or something like that. So that should be enough, barring an invasion. And I can hit what I aim at with my guns, at least with my long guns. Pistol shooting needs some work, and what we really need is a flipping pistol range. We don't have one, so I'll just have to. If I want to hit anything, I'll use a long gun, unless it's real close. But had an interesting chat on last Friday with Ed. She had talked about 1911s, which was the first gun I ever bought, and I thought.
Don't you still have it?
Yeah, but really, compared to the Glock 17, it's just so much heavier. And I mean,
don't be a wuss.
It's not a question about being a wuss. I mean, if I was just walking down the street and it was legal, if I was just walking around town or walking, okay, if I'm driving around, fine. But if I've got to hike a significant distance over rough terrain and climb up waterfalls and up the side of canyon walls, and I don't want no gigantic piece of steel weighing me down. I'd rather have a pocket pistol or nothing heavier than a Glock. And I don't know. I think even my revolver would be too heavy. But a 1911, it's okay if you need to pistol whip somebody. That's it's got enough weight to it to where you could do some serious damage. But it's an awesome weapon. I really like. I think we're talking about the favorite movie scenes with the 1911, and I really thought of the Wind Talkers. There's a bunch of scenes with the 1911, and Nicolas Cage is using that. The Japanese ambush scene where they're ambushed by Japanese, and I think he uses his 1911 and in the film, and he takes out about 2 or 3 dozen Japanese soldiers with just his 1911. And
Well, Sergeant York held off how many Germans with a 1911? I mean,
well, he captured them with a rifle, but you mean when he's walking them down as prisoners? Yeah.
okay, not the Gary Cooper movie where he used a Luger, which isn't true. They used a Luger because they couldn't get a 45 to shoot blanks and cycle. They had to use a Luger because they could get a 9 to fire blanks and cycle. In real life, Sergeant Alvin York, yeah, he had a rifle. He had an 03 Springfield, but he also used a 1911, and he used that 1911 to hold back a German advance, and he scared them so bad a whole bunch of them surrendered to him, armed with that handgun.
Well, it's a scary handgun. It's just that I wouldn't want to go on a long hike over rough terrain with it. And I mean, if I was in a war zone, okay. But if I was just hiking or hunting, for a backup gun, I'd pick something lighter. It's a heavy gun. I mean, I like it.
Patata.
Not at all. Compared to a Glock is just so much lighter. And weight counts. Pounds are pain. I mean, I think, was it you that told me about your sergeant taking off extra stuff that he thought you didn't need?
Oh, yeah, he was mad I was carrying extra stuff. I could handle it. That pounds of pain, that's for sissies. I like Such's videos, but I don't really like that saying he's got pounds of pain. It's like, oh, where'd you get that, James Yeager? Whatever.
Well, I mean,
you want to be weighed down with something heavy? Weigh yourself down with water. That'll weigh you down, but you got to have it.
You got to have water. I liked the 1911 when Bogey had it in Sahara, and he was the tank commander in the Stuart tank. But with that shoulder rig, the leather shoulder rig. But if I was hiking through the jungle, I would pick a lighter gun. And even when I was a kid, if I had to go hiking through the bushes, through the chaparral, I didn't want nothing heavy like that. I mean, I'd take a pocket pistol, subcompact all the way. It's just I like the. You'll have it. It'll sap your energy to carry that thing around. Throw you off balance when you're hopping rocks, and it was just the terrain was too hard. I would never carry a 1911 around through that unless it was I knew I was if I knew I was headed for combat. That shit, I'll go loaded for bear with everything, no matter what it weighs. But if I'm not expecting Mortal Kombat, then I'll take something lighter, thank you. But I like my 1911. It's just I appreciate lighter guns as well. So anyway, it was an interesting chat. It's another one of the shows that I try and get on every week. Oiley's chat on Thursdays and Edge's chat on Fridays. And
yeah, I listened to Edge's chat Saturday morning. I thought it was a good one.
Yeah, and they know a lot more about 1911s than me. Like I said, I bought mine when I was like 22 or something in Reseda Sporting Goods, and it was like $400 for a Colt Mark IV Series 80. Some people like the 70s better, but whatever.
Been around a long time. It's a proven design. It works.
Oh yeah, it's battle proven. I'm not a big fan of the grip safeties, but and it doesn't have like that thing that sticks out. I guess they call it the beaver tail or whatever. The one is just like a smooth grip safety. The one that came with the Series 80, and I don't really like that grip safety at all. But you know, it is what it is. So you just have to get used to it if you're planning on using it. I like the way the Glock works better, but the caliber, the 45 caliber 1911, it definitely feels like you've got Thor's Thunderbolts when you carry that thing. What did you carry? What did you guys ever carry in the military in 1911, or did they give you Berettas?
I had an M9, but the MPs on the air base still had 45s. The MPs on the infantry side, they had the M9s.
Sheriff, what about you?
I was never issued a pistol. I never fired a pistol in the military.
Why was that?
It was M9 though. Because I was combat engineer.
You just blow things up, and engineers don't need a pistol.
No, they don't. They don't think that a lot of the MOSs need pistol training or to carry a sidearm anymore. The only reason I even got to carry a pistol was because I guarded ammunition. So unless you're an MP or air crew or something like that, everybody has a rifle.
Or maybe operations. So if you're like in the operations platoon, those guys, you get pistols. Medics will have pistols.
Yep.
And officers and like first sergeants and stuff.
I figured
obviously-
everybody in the military would have to shoot and learn how to shoot.
They used to back in the day, and it became a matter of economics.
Well, I don't expect to understand the military economy. or to pull a line from a TV from a TV show. I will never understand how the modern military works.
It's just like people think that when you're on base, everybody in uniform's packing heat. They're not. All the guns are locked up in the armory. People with firearms are the MPs or anybody who's out in the field training. And even then, in some cases, the MPs aren't even carrying loaded weapons.
What if you're deployed in Afghanistan, though? I mean,
oh, that's a little bit different.
It's a lot.
But you don't take the firearm with you everywhere. Like when you go into the chow hall, you don't necessarily take the firearm with you, or when you go to sick call or whatever. It just depends. When I went aboard the sub, they made us leave our firearms on the dock. We had to leave somebody there to guard everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was some interesting stuff on that Patton DVD and the audio essay about Patton on what some soldiers would do when they were talking about the slapping of the soldier incident. What some soldiers would do to get out of having to go into combat. They could fake having a fever, apparently, by shoving a piece of soap up their ass. That rose their temperature, made their temperature rose. I know, and some people would do that so they wouldn't have to go into combat. And but what happened was Patton had been reading some reports about that, and some soldiers who had when the Americans first landed in Africa, they tore off their uniforms and tried to blend in with the local population and buy clothes from the local Arabs. And I don't know what happened when they first landed in Tunisia, but there was some interesting stuff in the commentaries about the whole slapping incident.
War is hell, Hawaii.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt. But
if I ever get a draft notice, I'll just say, "Where's the soap?"
Where's the soap? Well, anyway, there's your how to fake the flu. But that's Patton was a good war movie. They don't make generals like him anymore. he was a very colorful guy. Did you guys ever meet any generals when you were in the military? Or
Yeah, I think I met two different generals at I was at the motor pool. I don't know, one of them might have been a post commander. They just like ask you a question, and if you, I don't know. It's not a big deal.
well, if they're a general, they have stars.
Yeah. I can't, I mean, it's not like something I've remembered if I didn't get a coin. Or if I wasn't the guy he asked the question to, I just kind of, I think it happened twice, but I remember like one of the times. I didn't get a coin though.
Yeah, what was really funny is some of the soldiers said, wrote letters like saying, if Patton wants to slap me, that he can come over and slap me any old time because I know he's going to do everything he can to get this war over with fast and get me back home. So he can come over and slap me anytime. But anyway, that was a pretty good movie. I haven't seen that one in a long time. I like the weather prayer. He prays for good weather. And the guy who writes the prayers says, "Well, I'm not sure that's going to be received. How that's going to be received, praying for fair weather so we could kill our fellow man." And Patton says, "Well, I promise you that because of my intimate relationship with the Lord, if you write a good prayer, we'll have good weather." And the other line that was memorable is when Patton says, when they're trying to relieve the siege of Bastogne, and he's in his headquarters, and he says, "Well, we'll attack all night. We'll attack tomorrow morning, and if we're not victorious, let no one come back alive." And everybody stops, turns around, and looks at him like he's crazy.
I think he was this Episcopalian.
I'm not sure. I forgot what his particular sect of religion. I know he was Christian, but I like that he was a student of military history and going all the way back to Peloponnesian Wars. I mean, if some people, I once asked a soldier if he said something about Thermopylae, and he had never heard of the place. So I just like people that at least have some understanding of military history, and Patton was one of those people. And what's interesting about him is he was in he went to the Virginia Military Institute for a year, and then he went to West Point, and he had to be because he had dyslexia, and he had never really went to he hadn't started school until he was like 12, so he had reading issues, and he failed his first year. He had to be a plebe twice at West Point. So I think it took him 5 years to graduate from West Point. And I think his first year he failed the test in mathematics, and because of that, he failed that test. He also had to retake a French test, which he had previously passed, but then he failed the French test, even though he spoke French. His education was his parents reading to him from Shakespeare and the Bible, and so he almost knew all that stuff by heart.
Wow.
And his father taught him how to ride. Anyway. Any other stuff on war films or anything else you guys want to talk about? Because I'm just sitting here drinking the Manischewitz, trying to keep the chat rolling.
No, I don't really have any war films. Have you watched Hacksaw Ridge yet?
No, I just wasn't too into when I saw the trailer for it. I know everybody says it was a good movie, but it just didn't do anything for me. I really wasn't into watching a war film about a conscientious objector.
Just watch it. Just watch it.
If it's ever on cable, I will.
You people. You need to watch.
How many war films am I supposed to watch? I mean, I watched Birth of a Nation and Patton, and plus Terminator. All the Terminators were on this weekend, over the weekend. So,
well, you've got to watch it. Trust me.
all right, next time, if I ever see it on cable, I will.
Well, it'll.
But when I know that my impression when I saw the trailer for it was I don't want to watch a war film about the conscientious objector. That was my first reaction to it.
Well, his thing was, first of all, he enlisted. He was not drafted. He enlisted. So, and he did that to help people. He said that there's basically enough pain and harm in the world, and he wanted to do something to help people. So that should say something for the man. At least he was in there wanting to help. But you need to watch it.
Well, I watched enough episodes of MASH.
No, you gotta watch it.
If it's ever on cable, I'll watch it. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I'm sure it'll come around. Don't be stubborn. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Well, but I'm not allowed to judge a film by its trailer.
Nope. Not in this instance. Let's just say it that way.
All right. If it's ever on, I'll make myself watch it once.
All right.
Hey, how did I get the cable all the way across the ocean to your place?
It's underwater. It's an underwater cable from Honolulu to the Big Island. I think they shoot it down via satellite, and then, I mean, there are fiber optic underwater cables all across the Atlantic. The transatlantic fiber optic cable was there's a tap on it by the NSA, so they actually record and monitor everything that goes through that fiber optic cable, which includes all the internet data between the United States and Europe. So the NSA hacks the world and
hack the planet.
Hack the planet. Yeah. So anyway, let's see how my Bitcoin wallet is doing. Oh, it's okay. Last time I checked, Bitcoin was over 4,000 again. So anyway.
Hey, who gave us a thumbs down?
I don't know. Maybe I did. Thumbs down my own video. No, I think I hit the thumbs up button. Somebody always gives me one thumbs down on almost all my videos. I don't know.
Me too here lately.
Think it's Night Strike?
I haven't bashed him on my show. I usually wait till the after chat. But so is anybody getting any more gun stuff other than just the usual ammo and magazines and stuff?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things lately that I've been having some fun with.
Do tell.
I picked up a side charging AR-15 upper receiver, and that's barrels of fun.
Was that the one you showed us last week?
Yes,
Okay.
and go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I tossed it on a barrel I had some fun with that. I got a new free float rail for my Faxon barrel. That's fun as hell too. I did a couple of videos for YouTube and just having some fun with it.
Yeah, I saw some, but I'm so behind on watching YouTube videos. I will watch your video. It's just
I try to make all mine under 5 minutes.
that's a good strategy because the longer they are, people don't always watch them all the way through.
Well, I don't want to preview my video if it's longer than 10 minutes. Like, I won't want to watch it to preview it.
Well, no kidding. I mean, it takes so long to upload a lot of times too.
Yeah, it's like you load it one day at night and then you come back the next morning and like it's almost done.
Yeah, I don't know what's changed, but a lot of people that used to not have any issues are now having issues with that. So, well, I got to get off here, guys.
Okay, thanks for coming on, Oily, as usual. And so, Oily's, your chat is on Thursday at what time?
Thursday, 8 Central, 9 Eastern Standard Time, and this week's discussion is preparing for ice storm since we have winter coming up. So.
I don't think I'm going to have to prepare for an ice storm. I don't know how much help I'm going to be on that one.
Well, that's okay. There's still aspects of no matter where you are, lots of power or, just getting water, things like that. So I'm sure there'll be something there you can take from it and add to it. So.
I could just hang around and drink whatever's left of my Manischewitz.
There you go. All right.
It'll be gone before Thursday. Have a good night, Oily.
Night all. Love you. Night.
Good night. All right. Any other gun stuff we can talk about before we wrap this show up, or?
Yeah, Ghost Tactical is auctioning off his Core 15, and the proceeds are going to be going to the Gun Show Loophole Tour.
Wow. Core, that's a pistol, some kind of pistol?
No, it's a 16-inch rifle.
Oh, okay.
I just made a video on it during the chat, and I'll throw the link on Gun Channels and in the internal.
Yeah, I know that G Webs is always trying to scrounge up money for the Gun Show Loophole Tour. And,
yeah, well, his transmission went out on his van.
Oh boy.
We had to
Has Bob been razzing him about it?
I don't know if Bob's been razzing about it, but I know that Ghost Tactical is, auctioning this rifle and he's going to send him the proceeds. So I figured that was definitely worthy of making a video for, because I can't bid on it in my state.
Okay, sounds interesting. That's definitely will be a big Gun Channels event if he can get his how's he going to get home if he can't get his transmission fixed? He's going to push the van all the way home?
No, he got it fixed.
Tie the Doberman up in front and had the Doberman pull the van.
He got the transmission fixed, but
he did.
I think I'm not sure, but I think he maxed out a credit card. I was kind of half listening.
Well, that'll be painful when the bill comes due.
Yeah, so I thought it was pretty cool, so I made a quick video.
Yeah, I hate to see some bank profiting off of somebody else's misery, but that's what they do. Anyway, I'm sure the mechanic who fixed it is happy, but I don't know if one rifle is going to pay for that.
Yeah, probably not, but
transmissions are kind of expensive, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how much he had to pay.
I think it was $3,000.
Yeah.
Ouch. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's an expensive little item. Boosted bumped up the price of the Gun Show Loophole Tour substantially. The transmission to drop out like that.
Well, I know he sunk some money into the van. I mean, he kept trying to get a van at auction, and he kept having somebody steal the. He was looking for something decent, and they'd steal it out from underneath him. And he finally got his hands on a van, and he had a few issues. Something about the water pump, and I don't know what else. He took it on a couple short test drives, like into New Mexico, that sort of thing, and it seemed to work okay. So he made it about to Chicago before I think the trans went out, but he got it fixed in Chicago. And then he came up to Michigan for a day, and he's heading towards New York. He might even be there. I haven't. I downloaded today's show. I'll listen to it tomorrow while I'm at work, so I'm not sure.
It reminds me of the time when my dad bought a boat, a motor boat of some kind, and we towed it. He bought it, and he never actually tried it out in the water. Then we towed it up to Lake Tahoe from Southern California, and I'll never forget the grade. We went up the backside of the Sierra Nevadas, and it was like, he had this like old Lincoln with like a 410 horsepower motor or whatever it was. And he had it flat open floored, and we were going like 5 miles an hour up this hill, the boat. And when we got it into the water, it had a bilge pump, but it started taking on water. But it was fun cruising around Lake Tahoe. It had 2 motors, and we got it up to 40 miles an hour or something like that. But we always had to pump it out every night because it was taking on water. It was like a plexiglass over wood or something, and so. But it was fun. But he sold it once he got it back. It was easier going downhill than it was going uphill.
Well, I talked to him about the van once, and I said, "Look, dude, why don't you go get a brand new ProMaster? You can stand up in the back. It's over 6 foot tall in the back. It's got double back doors. It's got side doors big enough that you could drive up to it with a forklift and load something with a pallet." I said you could fit 3 4x4 pallets in there. I mean, there's just tons of room. It's front wheel drive, small tires, good on gas.
What's it called?
A ProMaster. What it is it's a Fiat van that Chrysler markets under their name. They used to have the Sprinter vans that were made by Mercedes-Benz, and now they have the ProMaster. A lot of these companies are going to these vans that are taller. They've got more space. They're lighter, that sort of thing. I'm not saying the ProMaster is perfect. I've heard they've had some issues with the front ends and whatnot, but we've got one at work, and you can stuff enough in there that you can almost do 1.5 Chevy cargo van runs with this thing, and it drives pretty good for being a 6-cylinder gas engine front wheel drive with those little wheels. It drives better than what I thought it would. It's not uncomfortable, that sort of thing. And he said, "Well, how much?" And I said, "Well, you could probably get it for about $750 a month." And at that point, he's like, "No way!" But
it would have been cheaper than buying a van that.
Well,
have the whole transmission thing. But I got to tell you something funny that really happened today. There was a Subaru Outback. I was out at the pool. One of the 3 beautiful girls out at the pool had a Subaru Outback, and apparently a dog had basically their teeth marks in the Outback. I mean, not inside. I mean, on the outside over the fender, a dog had taken a bite or 2. I was like, I've never heard of a dog chewing on a car. Why would a dog bite a car?
They're dogs. They're kind of dumb. But I think G-Webs was looking for that particular style van. Those are the Chevy and Ford full-size vans. They don't make them anymore. Even the Dodges, they stopped making years ago.
Really?
And any of the new old stock vans, I've got a bunch of contractors, plumbers, electricians, that sort of thing. They're going out of state to find these things so they can get the last ones available, or any of the ones that are used that are in decent shape. They're just snapping them up because these old-timey skilled trades like these vans. I mean, there's probably a reason G likes these vans. I mean, they're roomy, they're sturdy, that sort of thing. I'm not really a van guy, so it doesn't, I'm not the best.
Back
I've
in the
driven a lot of them,
70s, vans were the big thing. You could guys would show up in vans and try and pick up girls and stuff, but they were the big thing in the 70s, I guess. But
I'm just not big into buying used cars because you inherit somebody else's problem. But I'm not saying I'll never buy a used car. If it was something they don't make anymore, like these vans, and I wanted something like that, then that would be the thing. But just having driven the old vans and driven the newer type vans, these newer vans look kind of silly, and with they're set up so high, you would think they want to flip over, but they're pretty stable. They're really good for cargo. So you could put a bed and a bunch of stuff in there, so have plenty of room. But I don't know. He said something about he wanted to sell his house. There you go. You could buy a house in Arizona.
I don't think I want to buy G-Web's house. I still have my mind set on that $70 million house with the estate with the infinity pool over Secret Beats.
Let me know how that goes.
Well, I just need to add about 5 or 6 zeros on my Bitcoin wallet.
Just type it in.
I don't type it, and they just send me a little bit of Bitcoin every month, or every other day. I get a little more Bitcoin. I get some Litecoin every day. I get some Bitcoin every other day, and about.
I think Litecoin's the one that Night Strike's into. Is that the one that doesn't cost any money?
No, it costs money. It's just that Litecoin. It is. It's basically like. It's a lot like Bitcoin, except it's faster. It has all the advantages of everything they want to do with Bitcoin, but they can't, because Bitcoin, it's a simpler kind of equation. So it's not as hard to, it doesn't require as many computers to process the blockchain. So it basically, when you buy something with Bitcoin and want to send somebody, it's almost instantaneous. With Bitcoin, it can take a few minutes. And everybody wants instant everything when it comes to cryptocurrencies, and Litecoin is just faster. So it costs a lot less because it's less mining intensive. And the fees aren't as, Bitcoin has more expensive fees than Litecoin. So it's all part of the blockchain, but we'll see what happens with all these coins. I have no idea why or how Night Strike is mining his Litecoins, but yeah, that's not my problem. I just get mine delivered from cloud mining company called Genesis. So off a Dash contract that I bought, and they just change out the Dash for Litecoin and send it to me every day. Just a few little slivers, and over time it adds up. And it's just a question of what cryptocurrencies is going to be worth a couple years from now. Silver and gold still keep getting hammered down by the powers that be, manipulate it, but I'm not in any rush with any of that.
Invest in lead.
Well, like that was a good John. There's a joke about that in that John Wayne movie, Chisholm. And when the cattle rustler steals John Wayne's cattle, and he says, well, or horses, I think it was. He says, well, I'll sell them back to you. Did you bring any gold? He says, no, I didn't bring any gold. Did you bring any silver? It's like, nope, just lead. You can't buy anything with lead.
You made that lead bullion video.
Yeah.
I like that video.
You did?
Yeah, man. You can buy silver coins and ammunition at the same place. One-stop shopping. You can't beat that.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was SD Bullion. I don't know if they take Bitcoin, give you a 3%. I know Provident Metals takes Bitcoin and gives you 3% off. I don't
because they feel bad for you because you got cheated by the Bitcoin. I had to.
That's okay, man. If somebody's going to stupidly insult me, I prefer it be you.
Oh, thanks, man. That means a lot.
Yeah, all we need is Dusty to come on here and start waving his pitchfork around. farmer with a pitchfork.
I'm going to give him so much shit. I know I'm going to get a text in a day or two going, sorry, I fell asleep. It is late. It is late. I don't know how many of these trucks he can fill, but I think they're like gravel trains or something. They're two. It's a tandem trailer, and he's got to load them up. And
what's he doing? He's filling he's trying to build a berm of soybeans or something.
No, he's selling them. I don't know, whatever. But something about they come in at 6 a.m. and he's there all day, and then, by the time your show rolls around, he's already exhausted. And I get it. I totally get it. They're not going to be happy when I come in late tomorrow, but oh well, whatever.
Well, this is a late night Monday Gun Channel show, so I try and be here, even though it's a high holiday. I'm here trying to do my best for Gun Channels. I'm not donating $3,000 to fix this transmission, but at least I'm doing the Monday night show. I don't know what Matt was talking about on his show, but.
I don't know if he's moved yet or not.
He's been getting ready to for a while. He should. I mean, I suppose people that bought his house, want to move in at some point.
I know it's got at least one
before he puts any more holes in it.
Yeah, no kidding. So
he did some desk pop video where he shot a few holes in his ceiling and the window.
Everybody knows where he lives, so. There's going to be somebody who didn't get the memo that he moved, and there's going to be somebody knock on the door. Hey, man, does Never Enough Ammo live here? Like, who are you? Get out of here. Get off my lawn.
Well, that's comes with when you buy a house from a famous person.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's going to be people coming by, knocking, going, "Hey, can I get Matt's autograph?" There's no Matt here. Slam the door.
He moved to Idaho. Get the fuck out of here. He went north. He's that way. Point north.
I don't know if you follow Travis P11, but he picked up the Ruger equivalent of your CZ rifle. So the Ruger American rifle is now chambered in 7.62 by 39, amongst other caliber offerings.
It's got an 18-inch barrel?
Dang, I can't remember. I'm going to say between 16 and 20, so it's right in there. It's got a threaded...
18 is in between 16 and 20.
Yeah, so it's either 16, 18, or 20-inch barrel. I can't remember. Just from looking at it, I can't remember the barrel length on it. I know it's threaded to accept a suppressor or any other muzzle device like compensator, muzzle brake, something like that. But it's also got a cap that you can put over the threads to protect them. And it's drilled and tapped for scope. It uses Mini 30 magazines.
It's 16.12 inches.
Thank you.
And the CZ's 18 inches.
Okay. So it's got a synthetic stock in flat dark earth, and he was shooting pretty decent groups at 100 and 200 yards with it, and he's done 3 or 4 videos on it. I know he called me from when he was heading home from the range. He was pretty geeked up. He was really excited about the rifle. So
yeah, it's nice. What kind of scope did he get for it?
I can't remember what
power. It was huge. I don't remember what it was, but it's freaking huge in the video.
Yeah, I can't remember what power scope it was because he was asking me, and I had I was telling him, dude, I'm not an optics guy, so yeah. I mean, even though he's got rifles with scopes, I got to shoot one of his with a red dot and whatnot. Since I still don't know shit about optics, I'm really the wrong person to ask or to talk to about it. I wouldn't know the difference between a good one or a bad one, unfortunately. But yeah, he's made some videos on that, and they're pretty neat videos. So, but I like bolt actions. I just there hasn't been anything other than Milsert bolt actions that have caught my eye, but this one is kind of neat. It's more affordable than your CZ, but the CZ it might have some features on there that this one doesn't. I'm not sure.
Well, the trigger is really nice on the CZ. It's got like that. You can have it. You can if you. Boy, it's been a while since I shot the CZ. It's got like a almost a custom trigger. You can get if you push out the trigger before you it sets it to like the custom super light setting. But just the regular setting, it's a really nice trigger. It's like a custom trigger job almost from the factory. Yeah, I'm very accurate with it. I mean, I've got a loop bolt scope on there, and it pings the steel when I shoot at it every time. So
Jared's sharing the video over there. You can see it.
Okay.
Jared, say something.
Hey,
See? There you go.
check it out.
Let me hit the present for him. All right, I'll hit present to everyone.
There you go.
That's a large front end of the optic there.
I'm pretty sure he said the barrel is like free floated, the way it's supported.
Yeah, and he had to add the bipod. He did say it came with the attachments for the sling swivels. You'd have to buy the swivels and the sling yourself, and it'll accept Mini 30 magazines. And yeah, he put that bipod on.
Yeah, I got a Harris bipod on mine. I'm not sure what kind that is. I don't think it's a Harris, but it's hard to tell. Looks a little like a Harris, but I can't tell. He's moving it around.
In your opinion, is that bipod really helpful?
If you want to hit what you're aiming at, I mean, you got to lean it on something, rest it on something. I mean, it's not like I went to sniper school or anything, but I put the crosshairs on the target, and with the proper elevation, it hits the steel when I aim at it. So I don't know what more I can ask from the rifle, other than I point at what I want to hit, and it hits it.
I think they're both really cool rifles. This one's just a little bit more affordable. So if I got a 7.62 by 39 bolt action, I'd probably go with this. But I'm not knocking the CZs at all. CZ's good quality firearm.
Yeah, it's got. I'm just looking at what you're showing me here in the video. It's got that Ruger AccuTrigger. It looks like an AccuTrigger thing on there.
Okay.
I haven't actually tried that trigger, but I heard about it. I like the CZ has an amazing trigger on it. I will say that. It's like almost a custom trigger job on the CZ. And it's got that mode for extra light trigger. It's like if you push the trigger forward, it instead of pulling it back, it sets it up in the super light trigger.
So you don't need any tools?
Nope.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was interesting. I have a picture of I think it showed my CZ in the I like gunpowder in the morning. I like to smell gunpowder in the morning video. Like ways back. It's like I'm not a professional shooter or anything. I never attended military sniper school or anything like that. But it's what I like about it is just it's bolt actions. You tend to slow down, take your time, and do everything right. And the tolerance are tighter than like an AK. So it's going to end with the extra couple inches on the barrel. It's just going to be more accurate.
But the fact that the ammo is compatible with a rifle you already have, that's one thing. Now there's one less caliber you got to stock.
Oh yeah.
And then the fact that the bolt action, it's more precision. So if you're trying to do more precision shooting, there you go. And the other thing is the round is big enough to bring down game. I mean, you
absolutely,
can hunt a deer or a hog with it. So
yeah, and you'll hit what you aim at with that thing. So it does the bolt action tends to make you slow down and do everything right. And you aren't just gonna be blowing off ammo. You're gonna if you got a bolt action rifle, you're gonna take your time, get your breathing right. You're gonna get your trigger pull right. You're gonna line everything up perfectly, and just take your time and do it right. If you got a semi-auto, if you got an AK, you just kind of you tend to take shortcuts sometimes.
Well, you can fire at a slower rate with a semi-auto. You just got it's a little bit quicker for acquisition on a follow-up shot. You're not forced to slow down as much, but you can train yourself where you can take precision shots.
Yeah, and the best way to do that is to shoot with a bolt action and then switch to a semi-auto. I found that if I started shooting with bolt action and then I picked up the AK, I was more accurate with the AK. But
or HVS, you could just go to my range where they only allow 1 bullet per magazine if it's larger than 22. And then you get real good, especially with the AK. You should see how slow you go.
Well, that's just it. That's like that guy that came out to our range that was complaining that he can't do mag dumps out of 30-round magazines or that sort of thing. 1 round at a time, I've gone to ranges like that. That is such a pain in the butt. But it will force you to make those rounds count more. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but you find a way to work within the rules. And what was that old guy was giving you a hard time or something about the rifle, and then you're just knocking him out of the park over there or something?
Yeah, this old dude pulls up in his car. I literally just pulled the Faxon rifle out of the bag. And he's like that. He walks over, he looks at it. He's got no gear with him, no nothing, like no iPro, no hearing protection. And he's just like, I was in, what did he say? I was in Grenada. They gave me an 11.5-inch M1 M14. I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn at 30 yards, but it was a piece of shit. You ain't gonna be able to hit a 50-yard target with that rifle. You need to learn to hit an 18-inch at least. So you can get
for 50 yards. I could hit a 50-yard target with a rifle shooting through a mirror backwards, under my legs, between the legs.
I can group at 50 yards with a pistol.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've hit 50 yards with a 1911. Yeah, so
I can hit 50 yards with a BB gun. I mean, come on,
Daisy Red Ryder, you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah, so he sits down and he like watches me with no ear pro, nothing, and I shot a dime-sized group at 50 yards with it. And he just kind of like he just got up, got in his truck, and drove away.
He was trolling you at the range.
I expected
like, thumbs down a video or something.
Well, I expected like that to happen on YouTube, kind of, but I didn't expect it to be.
YouTube sent him.
Yeah.
I wish my range would just let me do 3 bullets, like 3 at the lowest, because it's a 0 range. It feels so wrong.
I mean, that's what they taught us in the military. You do a 3-shot group to sight in your firearm.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when you went to the rifle range, did you have slow fire and rapid fire at the different meter marks?
You're not going to like this, but everything was fancy at Fort Lost in the Woods. They had all the fancy electronic equipment.
You guys had budget.
They had the automatic electronic pop-up targets, and they even had a range we went to, and we what did we do? We showcased it for some Saudi Arabians.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were Saudi Arabians. I didn't get a good look at them because they told keep your face in the rifle, but it was electronic targets that they could show you where the bullet hit, and it could show you if it missed up to like 2 or 3 feet around it where it missed.
Dang. Yeah, I think we had 100-meter slow and rapid fire, and then maybe 200 slow fire, and then 300 meters slow and rapid fire, and then 500 meters slow fire. But we had to have somebody working the butts back there, raising, lowering the targets, putting a little white whatever they call them on there to show you, and then you mark in your range book, and then you adjust accordingly. Man, you guys had budget.
Yeah, not in Hawaii though. We just had the 25-meter AQT targets.
Okay.
Army qual targets, but like Lost in the Woods, we had all the fancy stuff. But in Hawaii, they were just like, yeah, just shoot a thing. Hawaii was a pain in the ass because they had civilian range control. So the civilians loved to break everybody's balls.
What range are you talking about? The range on Oahu?
Yeah, we had a couple different ranges on Oahu, and the range control likes to break everybody's balls.
Yeah, sometimes the civilian people get a little out of hand, but
It's bad when they're giving the military a hard time about shooting. Did they do that with Leo as well?
I have no idea. I never saw Leo when I was in Hawaii.
Okay.
But never saw him on the range. But yeah, every pain in the ass. Or if it wasn't them, it was the fucking munitions they were giving us. That was insane. They kept giving us grenades, and we kept throwing duds. And the last time we went to the grenade range, like the third time with duds in a row, one of the fuses popped in a guy's hand. He pulled the pin, brought his hand back, went to throw it, and it went pop. Luckily, it didn't do nothing.
He pissed himself, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he looks at my buddy, who's the range safety at that station, and he's just like, he's fucking screamed, "Throw the fucking thing!"
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, all it is more or less it's a blasting cap that goes downward into the composition B explosive and blows up the grenade. So it'd be like having a firecracker go off in your hand, but you're also holding an explosive at the same time. So
yeah, it was pretty insane.
Now, since you were CEB, did you guys have to go dispose of all these dud grenades, or did you call in EOD for that?
They made us call in EOD.
Because, I mean, you guys had the stuff to, blow all that up.
Yeah, but they make us call in EOD because it's safer that way. Even though we had BIP certified guys there, guys who can blow in place, they still don't care. They still want you to call EOD. And then EOD comes down and their shit doesn't fucking work. Like, go ahead. Like, here, you ever press the button on one of these wireless controllers before? No, sir. Let me try it out. Beep, boop, nothing happens. The button doesn't do nothing. Why couldn't we just, now we gotta wait another fucking hour for that thing to make sure that doesn't happen, and that thing wasn't dual initiated. We could have just ran some fucking walk,
See, what a lot of people don't know is that you blow up old explosives with explosives. You destroy them. People, not everything has a secondary explosion. If you blow it up, it destroys it. It doesn't necessarily make it blow up as well. And that's how you get rid of captured munitions, expired munitions,
UXOs.
duds. Yeah, you blow them up.
Yeah, whenever we do anything, we always dual initiate it. Like the ring main, we always dual initiate it. Two blasting caps. Not two blasting caps. We dual initiate the. I can't remember the fucking nomenclature for the. So we got the M81s hooked up to the time fuse, and then we have that hooked up to the detonating cord. Which
aren't they wired in? They're wired in parallel, so both of them are going to go off. Or if one of them doesn't work, at least the other one goes off, right?
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way we always did everything. It's the safest that way. But EOD had to come out with their fancy fucking equipment. It didn't work.
Speaking of blowing stuff up, I like the closing on your videos on VidMe there. It looks like you're detonating like a barbed wire obstacle or something like that.
That's
right? Like a bungalow torpedo type deal. You know what I mean?
That door has, if I remember, I could be wrong.
Are you breaching the door that's behind the barbed wire?
Yeah, so there's a berm there, and then that's actually engineer tape and pickets. That's my door that me and Karpinski blew that door up. We put a dead cord linear charge 3 inches away from the crease of the hinge side of the door, and then we put I forget the name of this, just a door charge, a C charge. That's what it's called. The C. You make a C with 3/18s and one 24-inch.
Don't people just kick in doors anymore? They have to blow them up.
You got to blow the hinges off, and what's really fun is when you use the water impulse charges. Those are fun on metal doors, but it's not fun on a wooden door because it just blows the hole where the charge was.
If you got combat engineers with you, you blow up. You blow the doors right off. If you don't, then yes, you kick the door in. You stick the M16 around the corner. You use your full auto or your burst, depending on what model you've got. You just spray the room, toss a grenade in there, then you go check the house. But if you got CEBs with you, yeah, you bring them up front there and be like, "Hey guys, can you help us out?" No. I used to hang out with the combat engineers when I was deployed, and it was the ordnance guys, the combat engineers, and the LAD guys, light anti-aircraft, the Stinger guys. So the three of us would be hanging out just because we all played with stuff that went boom, and we like to blow things up together. So it was a lot of fun.
Well,
yeah, but I like that outro there on your video. That's pretty cool. So
thank you.
I guess you can do that on VidMe without YouTube dropping down the no explosions hammer on you.
Oh, I didn't even know they had no explosions.
Yeah, they're kind of don't like anything with the word bomb on it, and anything that blows up. I never made a video like blowing any up and using any binary or anything.
I can tell you this: if you got to remove some obstacles, you want to have some combat engineers there, because them boys they'll make you a path. They'll make you a path.
Well, I believe that binary is a good prep, but I've never really. I just have binary. I don't have any det cord. You have to shoot it to make it blow up.
Det cord, no. The det cord, don't you just pass a charge through it?
It's kind of like Cat5 cable, but with it explodes.
Yeah, but it's with an electrical impulse that goes through it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Just like C4 won't go off unless you have both heat and impact.
Yeah, pressure.
Yeah. And that's where your blasting caps come in. And I mean, I don't know all this stuff. I don't even come close to knowing what you know. But I used to hang out with guys like you, and they taught me all kinds of really cool stuff.
Det cord will just blow up if you hook up some fuse to it. Mm-hmm. And an M81. I've never taken apart an M81 before. The little thing with the ring on it, and you pull the ring quarter turn, push and you pull.
Yeah, it's just a plunger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it just makes a small electrical charge.
Yeah, I've never actually. You know what it does? Yeah, because if you hold the
you have to hook two wires to it.
If you hold the time fuse, you can feel the electrical charge going through the time fuse.
All right, we're going to take this stuff off of the air later.
Sorry, man. We're just geeking out on the military stuff.
The next section, we're going to teach off air how to make improvised claymores, improvised torpedo banglers.
I'll tell you how to use the identify friend or foe on a FIM-92 Stinger missile.
And I'll just be like doing another Mountain House food test review.
Hey, you guys go on and do that. I'm going to eat this.
Next review, how does C4 taste?
Probably tastes a lot like horse dung, I would imagine. Nitrogen fertilizer is what it must taste like. So.
It tasted very chemically to me. It was like 125 degrees that day. We ran out of water. I just decided.
They made you eat your C4, or was that your own idea?
I was like pretty close to get, my eyes sitting in the back of my head, and I just said, hey, why not? This will be fun.
Sometimes you get bored out in the field. Really bored.
Yeah, well.
This stuff is fairly stable, actually, so I don't know if it's edible, but
I don't remember getting sick after. I only had like a quarter-sized piece that I pulled off a little chunk.
You know, I did hear a story that in World War II they used, I don't know if it was C4, but in order to hide the stuff from Germans, that the resistance made pancakes with the was that OSS? They made pancake. They had, I think, I don't know if that was this legend about C4 being developed, but it was basically they made it into pancakes, so you could like make it into bread or pancake breakfast, and you could eat them. And it was like they mixed it with flour, and it still exploded, and you could make pancakes with it and cook it. And
somebody get a hold of Midnight Range TM. He's a cook. Find out.
Yikes.
Okay, well, I'm sure YouTube will demonetize those for this segment, but who cares?
Hey, we weren't talking about anything that somebody wouldn't learn if they joined the military themselves and got into the right field and that sort of thing. Some of this stuff translates over. I mean, you got to have explosives for mining. You've got to have explosives if you're explosive ordnance disposal.
How many more times are you going to say explosives in the next 5 minutes?
As many times as it'll take. So, yeah, no, they're used in the civilian world. I mean, not as frequently, but it's a valuable skill. So it's not all about being some sort of whack job.
Yeah, I mean,
you're the one worried about North Korea, man.
Well, but that's like up to the president if he wants to drop a nuke on him. That's not like people in London blowing up shit.
Just because we talk about this stuff don't mean we've got it. We don't have access to this garbage anymore. We just remember, when we got to play with it on the taxpayers' dollars. So,
yeah. Well, whatever.
Hey, some people, even if you offer to let them take this out to a range and detonate it, they wouldn't. Some people just can't handle touching that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with saying, look, man, this is just way too dangerous. I'm not touching it. But, somebody's got to do it. So
in the military, yeah, it's a job.
Blasting caps in the C4 in the same bag.
As long as the cap don't go off, but I don't know that I would have kept them together. No. It's just like we didn't put the fuse on any of the bombs we hung on the aircrafts until it was time to hang them on the aircraft. So, well, I shouldn't say that. There were some cases where we'd have them, but we had all kinds of safety pins and whatnot in them, wires and pins and stuff that were there that prevented anything from physically moving for all for safety.
You guys have like a QRF or something?
If that's like a QASO, Quality Observer Safety, Quality Assurance Safety Observer.
I just meant like Quick Reaction Force.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. REAC. We had REAC. Yeah, but that was all on the battalion landing team side. I was on the air wing. So even though I hung out with some of the guys that were into the combat engineers who would have been part of the MSSG, the Marine Service Support Group, and the LAD guys were attached to the air wing, even though they were firing surface to air missiles. But yeah, the stuff that I would mess with, I mean, you hang a 500-pound bomb on an aircraft, that's got like 380 pounds of C4 in there. And a lot of people just don't like the idea of being around something like that. They won't find your body. They won't find even your teeth if this thing goes off, And you got to hang 16 of these on an aircraft, whatever. So,
yeah, become a red mist.
Yeah. It's like getting hit with a 45. You just turn to dust.
Well, if you got to go, at least it probably won't be painful. It all happened before your pain receptors can actually fire off any electrons that go anywhere.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I never really thought about that. I mean, every now and then I'd be holding something going, man, if this thing goes off right now, they're not even going to find parts of me. But I just kept on going. I had a lot of experienced guys that were, watching out for me, and they'd stop me if I started to do something wrong. And we did all kinds of safety stand downs where we do training. And sometimes I thought it was kind of ridiculous, but then, over time I started realizing this is here to keep me alive, and I have reasons I want to live. So, safety is paramount.
It is important to have reasons that you want to live. and remember what they are from time to time. And if those no longer apply, to think of new ones.
Hey, G just posted that he's doing a tour update right now if you want to find out what he's been up to.
Oh, he's doing a tour update on his.
Yeah.
Did he
If you
make
go-
it to New York?
If you go to the lobby chat page, he's got a link, gunchannels.com/gun show.
Oh, he posted a link in the lobby. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Trying to make it over there if I don't pass out after the show from all the. I think I downed a half a bottle of Manischewitz. So
That's it.
for Rosh Hashanah. Well, I need. It's 10 days. I have 10 days to repent, so I have to make it last for 10 days. So
Oh,
I'm
you're
gonna
in
need to. I need to buy another bottle. They had some at Safeway when I was there, but
You might want to get 5 more bottles.
they have a discount if you buy a 6-pack of them.
There you go. See, this is scale of economics, right?
It's called an economy of scale.
Whatever it is, I don't know. I'm not that smart.
That's why they got you to handle the 500-pound bomb.
Yeah, no kidding. Give it to this dumbass. Nobody will miss him.
We used to have a jingle.
Your name will be Red Mist. We'll change it from Squiblo to Red Mist.
If you're a 6-pack man, stick to a 6-pack. If you get in a fight, win. Go to jail, bring a battle buddy. That's our Monday night safety brief.
Follow those rules, and everything will work out just fine.
I have no comment on any of this stuff. See, I get to enjoy the wonders of being just a civilian, not having to deal with any of that.
That's a pretty good safety brief, though. A quick one. I don't know. I can't remember if there's any more.
My advice is just be a civilian. Be happy. Leave the military adventures to guys with nicknames like Red Mist.
Can I be Eagle One? Red Mist X-ray. This is Eagle One. Radio check over.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember with what was it, Prick 77 radio in your Alice pack, and you got to say something like Roger, radio check over, or something like that, or you're dredging up some old memories. Yeah. And
Roger, Lima Charlie.
You have to do it every hour.
Well, yeah. If you don't check in, they don't know if you're dead or not.
They wanted to make sure I didn't fall asleep, which I had a tendency to do.
You always get that maintenance, or you get some weird platoon or something who's like not part of the company, but they have like some weird call sign and nobody knows what it is. Who the fuck's Sapper 808? Like, the fuck call sign is that? Like, where's that even coming from?
Well, 808 is a zip code for Hawaii, or the phone area code.
And a sapper is a combat engineer, so.
Yeah, it was maintenance. We ended up finding out maintenance was fooling around, coming up with their own call signs.
Well, are you done with your magazines yet, or?
Oh yeah, I've been done. I got all that put away. I was trying to fix 2 of them. I've got 2 of them in a Ziploc bag that the floor plates are all jacked up. So I was at Brownells last month, and I picked up some just regular GI floor plates and tried to jam them in there, and that's not the problem. There's something wrong with these magazines. I don't know. They're just maybe I you know what, I think I might want to try that Magpul Ranger floor plate and see if that'll fit in there. I don't know. So maybe I'll order one of those. I got some gun parts on order from Ruger. I got to fix my son's 1022, and I figured since I'm already paying shipping and handling, I'd order spare parts for 2 other guns. So I got that coming in. But I know Magpul makes some sort of aftermarket floor plate for GI mags. So Otherwise, they'll just pitch the mag. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Are they older mags? Are they pre-1994 mags?
No, they're not. Well, man, I don't know. Some of the stuff I've got is pretty old, so. But for some reason or other, I've got two magazines. I've got a 20 rounder and a 30 rounder, and I took the floor plates off to clean them. And when I went to go put them back, they just didn't fit. I've tried a couple other floor plates, and even swapping them out from other mags or buying brand new ones, they don't fit. And I don't know, did I bend something? I've tried bending the tabs back and forth, and I don't know what's wrong. I hate to throw away the mags, but then again, you can get a brand new aluminum GI mag from ASC for $10 or less. So
Mike DeVore likes Gen 3P mags the best.
I just bought this one called Amend 2. It's a polymer mag made in America. I picked that up when I was at Brownells, and I just tested that out at the range, and it worked really good. So,
if those are both pre-bands, I'll send you money for shipping. But you have to take a look at them and send me some pictures, and I can usually tell if they're pre-bands.
Well, what I can't understand is I took the floor plates out and bent the shit out of them trying to get them back in, and they're just regular GI floor plates. So I tried other floor, and nothing's working. What did I do? Did I bend the bottom of these things, or I don't know. So, but the other magazines that I had that weren't messed up, those I cleaned those first. I cleaned a high power mag, some 1022 mags, and some AR mags, and then I got my bag of parts there, and I was trying to fix up 2 AR mags I'm salvaging. So,
all right. Well, I think Jesse James was out there a while ago. I haven't seen him back since we were talking about the Ruger and the CZ. So I think we're going to close the on-air portion, and then we're going to go off-air and talk shit about Night Strike. So check out gunchannels.com. It's free to join, and it's a lot of interesting people on there. And it's all about the Second Amendment on that channel. So on that website, it's a very interesting way to stay up on Second Amendment issues, legislation, and events like the Gun Show Loophole Tour. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week. It's another late night, Monday night lock and load on Gun Channels.